Hello there, everyone, and welcome to the Apples and Ginos Fantasy Hockey Podcast. My name is Evan Riom, and I'm here with Ryan. And in this live stream, we'll be rocking a few Yahoo Fantasy Hockey mock drafts. Here we go.
Awesome. Welcome in, everybody. Love that Austin Matthews Selly. How's everyone feeling today? We are into September, so now it's not just us who are looking into fantasy hockey. Maybe some more people are looking into it as well. We're about a month away from the season, and things are getting exciting. In Apples and Ginos, we had some releases of the draft guide, the 25-26 draft guide. We had Nate and Blake's projections released. It is an exciting time. Evan, how you feeling?
Good. Yeah, like you said, it's crazy. We're moving through, the early parts of fall, late summer here, and just getting ready for some fantasy hockey, man. I feel like we're doing these mock drafts every week, and every week I'm getting a little more confused on who I'm drafting because I'm looking into so much data and info, but it's exciting. I want to get into it. I want to get some real drafts done here.
Yeah, so we did join one thinking maybe we'd have some listeners join in, but it looks like that room is full, which I'm fine with. I'm fine with drafting against some normie Yahoo mock drafters and seeing what kind of teams we can create, really pushing those pushing the ADP a little bit, seeing how far we can let some people slide. Evan, have you gotten into some Yahoo mock drafts other than the last one we did?
Yeah, I occasionally do a few. We're mock drafting so much over here. It's it's hard to get into even more than what we're doing. But yeah, on occasion I still do. I've been looking a lot more kind of like middle round ADPs and trying to figure out, where I can snag some of these guys in my personal drafts. And I know you've been doing the same, Ryan, because we've got some good steals at ADPs for Yahoo that we're going to go over after this.
Yes, sir. We each chose 3 players to go over whose Yahoo ADPs are way too low that we're going to talk about after the draft. Evan, what do you say? Should we leave this draft and go to it 1 in 5 minutes? Let's do that.
Let's do that. That sounds good to me. we can't leave the listeners out, Ryan. We got to let them in,
Yeah,
and they'll be competitive that way.
All right, there we go. The one 5 minutes away. Penalty box 218. Evan, get in there at 7 again if you can.
Penalty box 2187. Let's see. Did I get there? I did. Okay, perfect. As we do want to be able to snipe each other per usual. Keep that trend going.
Yes, and look at that. It's full again. Stefan, I see you in there. You got in at 10, so that's good.
The real question is, can I get the Eggman from you this time?
Ooh, speaking of the Eggman, I found a little bit of a boo-boo. I found a tiny bit of a typo in my calculations for his projections, and it was a little bit excessive on the shots on goal. And so I'm a little embarrassed to admit it, but my second version of my projection sheet is updated now. That is corrected. And Darnell Nurse, the Eggman, is a little less valuable than I thought he was based on what I had. So I will share my new projections here. It knocked him down just a tiny bit. I still have him at rank 102 in APL settings, so that's still like I'm still happy drafting him around round 11, 12 maybe. But maybe round 9 when I was taking him before was a little too high. So
you
I
mean
got
round
him
5 or I thought it was round
yeah,
5.
round 5. I got him. I got his shots knocked down to 196. I had him above 215 before, and his goals are at 9. I think I had him getting 11 goals before, and I got him at 36 points. Still getting monster hits, 169 hits, and monster blocks, 150 blocks. So I still like the Eggman, but I did find a little bit of a mistake.
Absolutely. You think Jake Wallman, his arrival there, does anything to Darnell Nurse with his ice time, or maybe it even helps him at even strength? I don't know. What do you think about that?
Yeah, that I don't think it hurts him. Darnell Nurse is not getting like power play time, and I think the power play time he does get on power play 2, I think they'll run him and Wallman when they do that. But I got him just for like a minute per game of power play ice time, and I think Wallman helps him because he's more of an offensive threat and really helps the honest play there.
Yeah, absolutely. It's weird. I keep looking at a lot of these Edmonton projections and, guys, and I'm just wondering where they're going to kind of settle in this season. I keep going back to the 2 years ago when everyone had a monster season versus last year, and trying to find kind of a middle ground. One guy I keep looking at is Evan Bouchard. Really thinking where he's going to settle in. Is he going to be kind of closer to the floor, like 60-point defenseman, or is he going to get back up closer to a point per game or somewhere in the middle? Where did you have his projections at?
Yeah, I actually do have him pretty in the middle here at 73 points, 31 on the power play. I do see like I have Edmonton. I have the top guys really turning it up a notch from last year. Not quite the 140 pace that McDavid was doing previously, but I have McDavid getting back up to 126, and I am higher on Draisaitl than I think a lot of people. I have him getting 52 goals and 121 points. What I have is their power play producing a lot better. I just think these two are elite, and last year was a little bit of a down year, and it's gonna rebound.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. You want some of that Edmonton stock going into the season one way or another.
Yeah. We got a Killer Beast. He said he got in there at the 2 spot. We got a Ryan in at the 2 spot. Is Killer Beast, are you a Ryan as well? Are we fighting for the same name here?
We should mention we're without our other co-host, Brian, that was unable to make it today, so we're missing him. But we've had it before where we miss one of our key pieces and we kind of keep chugging forward.
Yeah, we'll miss Brian today. I think we've learned how to be nice to each other, so that's good. We don't need Brian to keep things nice.
Yeah, just walking the line of civil and good content. There's a fine line there.
Nice. Yes, and confirmed Killer Beast does share my name, so that's great. Great news there. We got a couple of Ryans in this draft. I hope he doesn't go after all my Ryans, like Ryan O'Reilly, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, maybe even a Brian Rust. No, that's for Brian.
Yeah, exactly. So what do you think, Ryan? What do you got coming up? Do you have any of your the APL draft? I'm sure is coming up for you. Any other drafts that you've got scheduled on the clock here in the upcoming days or weeks?
Well, unfortunately, not unfortunately, I have a draft right after this podcast, but that one's for fantasy football. So got to mix a little bit of that in. It just happened to be scheduled tonight. But no, I got a little blessing to be put into tier 1 of the APL. I hope I can live up to these expectations and crush Nate and Blake and everyone else that they thought were good enough to be in tier 1. So we have a little bit of a special draft where we're finding a fast draft time where we can all make it, and that's going to be later in the month. So we got some time to prepare because a little more pressure being in tier 1.
Yeah, and
Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I feel fortunate to be in tier 2. I'm completely fine not being in the tier 1 category with you 3 sweats, and I will earn my way to that spot. but maybe it'll be probably not, but it might be a little bit of an easier road then. But yeah, the wins will mean more for you if you can end up getting Blake or Nate in a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely I'll be sweating in that draft a little bit. Definitely going to be tougher competition than every other league I'm in, I think. But we got a question what I think of the APL scoring system. So yeah, the APL scoring system, I think we got 5 points for a goal, 3.75 for an assist. Generally, like, I actually think it's great. I think there's enough emphasis on the peripherals. So guys who get a lot of blocks and hits get right up there. So I actually think it's similar to like being in a categories league, but you don't need to worry about each category. It's just like, no, these are just all adding to the points. And yeah, I really like it. What do you think about the scoring system?
Yeah, no, I like it as well. I've kind of said before, I agree with how Nate kind of looks at the scoring and how it should be. So yeah, I'm completely on board. I feel like there's a lot of people that just have different variety of leagues, whether it be the points or cat setup, and you got to kind of find your sweet spot in terms of what works for you. But I'm also happy being in like a few different leagues where you can get some different players at different ADPs that fit that scoring format better. So I think that's kind of interesting to do as well. Which leads me to my final question before the draft starts, Ryan. How many leagues do you think you're officially going to be in this year for fantasy hockey?
Ooh, that is a great question. I have trouble saying no. So um, it might be around the 10 mark. What about you?
Oh, I am on the clock as
You
we are here. That's going to be there.
I will recap real quick. We might not do a full recap because we got some quick picks going on, but we had McDavid, then McKinnon, Draisaitl, Kucherov, Makar went at 5, and I took Kaprizov at 6. Evan, talk to us about your 7th pick.
Austin Matthews. This is, I think, the first time I've gotten him in a spot. A lot of times he either goes too high for me or he's already been taken. So I kind of like where I got him at in the kind of 7 to 9 spot. Definitely between him and Pasta, but I feel like I'd take a roll on Matthews this year. A lot of people are down on him with the departure of Marner. I still think he's one of the most elite players in the league. And I think he's really going to be relied upon more now to drive that offense and be a focal point of the power play. So I still really like Matthews at that spot.
Great. Yeah. And yeah, we had after Matthews, Pasta, Kachuk. Jack Hughes went in the first round. Jack Eichel went in the second round. Quinn Hughes went in the second round. And then Evan, you take Artemi Panarin instead of my guy. You left me my guy, Zach Werenski.
That's right. It's funny. I got my buddy in here in the comments just absolutely trying to shred me, saying that you're his favorite member. I'm a real dud. He's also saying Matthews is going to be a bust this year, pasta all day. Just hating the comments starting off. We did have a discussion the other day about Werenski. I think he's a great pick here. I'm kind of in a weird spot thinking about, we were talking more him versus Darlene. I think that was a really good talking point because I feel like they're in very similar situations, but I do believe that Werenski is in a better team situation actually. And I think he's more offensively aggressive. And I think that's what you want for fantasy than Darlene. The real question is like, is he going to continue that shot production and point pace that he was on last year? And I think he's probably going to come down a little bit, but in the second round, I still love him there. I'm assuming you kind of feel the same.
I don't have him coming down in shot production. I do have him coming down in his points a tiny bit, but I have him getting, I think, 302 shots on the season, which is pretty insane for a defenseman. And just that shot production alone makes him worthy of a second round pick any day.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So I couldn't resist here. I'm looking at Boldy's ADP, which is which you can't really get him at value this year. But I'll take him in the third round and complete the stack with Kaprizov and Boldy before you take Roman Yossi.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people are low on Yossi. I'm probably, I wouldn't say the highest on him, but I do think he's worth a third round pick. In the fourth round, it'd feel a lot better, which I probably could have waited for in this Yahoo format, but I'm kind of trying to draft like I would in a standard. But I feel really good about him. I think his floor is going to be kind of like 55, 60 points. I think Nashville's due for a bounce back, and I really, truly believe in the player. Obviously, there's the injury worry, but I'm not as kind of big on that. I think he's going to be able to manage it and come back with a vengeance, really.
Yeah, that's good to hear from you, because I know you know some things about some medical issues. You should be like a fantasy hockey doctor. That's
That'd be
role to fill in the world, I think.
that'd be a first for sure. Maybe I can make something of that. Let's see.
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out who's left here as my picks coming up.
Yeah, so I'm liking a lot of these picks here. We definitely have some Apples and Ginos folks in here, because I was hoping that Philip Forsberg might fall, Jesper Bratt, but Bratt gets taken 35th, probably right around where he should be taken. Keller as well, Tage as well. Like a lot of these players that we think might drop based on Yahoo's ADP. Look at that, right out the queue. Talk to me about the snipe right there.
As a little preview for later, players at ADP, but Marty Nikas, I think we're both pretty high on. Obviously, he joins Colorado and Nathan McKinnon there. I think things only get better for Marty Nikas. I'm looking at easily point per game guy. Great rush player, really drives offense, and is going to fit great on that top power play with two of the best players in the world. So I don't think, and it's funny, as you take Brandon Hagel, it was between Natchez and Hagel for me. So very good.
That's great. So I'm glad you left me the dual eligible guy, because my roster will have more flexibility now. So thank you for that.
I did see that. That's a great observation from an astute fantasy mind here.
Yeah, I was reading Nate's part in the big fantasy hockey draft guide that was just released. He did a huge, awesome piece on like all of his secrets to fantasy hockey. Literally, he just tells you all of his secrets, why he's so good. Really good tidbits in there, including how to really value dual eligibility, and how Nate thinks that it's a little undervalued even in like expert fantasy hockey circles.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of players, when you're looking at two similar players at ADP, you look at, dual eligibility and sometimes try eligibility as a huge factor because they can fit into your lineup on days when others wouldn't. And you don't have to make those tough decisions. You can just throw them into a different spot. So it definitely is a huge factor and something I pay attention to on draft day. But yeah, it really does make a difference. And we're kind of going quick as this is a Yahoo mock, but I go Marty Nikas at the 4-6. You go Brandon Hagel at the 4-7. We got Suzuki, Josh Morrissey, Barkov, Kempe, Igor Shesterkin, Mark Scheifele, Lane Hudson, Adam Fox at the 5-3, which is a great pick as I was thinking about picking him up. Connor Bedard at the 5-4, Ovechkin at the 5-5. Hugo Mackenzie Weegar. Talk to me about Weegar.
Yeah, I'm loving his ADP on Yahoo here, and I got him right around here, where I think I'm picking him a little earlier in some other spots like best balls, but I think him in the 5th round here, the risk that he gets off of power play 1, I think the risk is worth it here in the 5th round to take him, because if he stays on power play 1 all season, you're looking at a 3rd rounder. And if he gets taken off, mid-season with all his peripherals, the blocks, the hits, the shots, and like at least 45 points still, I think that makes him worthy of a 5th round pick.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we do have a little bit of question I want to address. Dang, Nate Dogg, this guy was going to join our draft. He's asking if we're doing another one. Unfortunately, because of me prioritizing fantasy football later this evening, we can't be running 2. We're just running 1. So my bad there. Another question, is this bangers? What are the hits points? So yeah, I didn't really address this, but we kind of just went into this draft as if you would go into really any Yahoo mock. It's like you go to a Yahoo mock, you kind of have your own leagues in mind when you're mock drafting. Yahoo has their own standard, which is like goals, assists, plus minus, gross, power play points, shots, and hits. But any time you are going into a Yahoo mock draft, you're really practicing for your own drafts. So I have the APL settings in mind. I also have some categories leagues I'm in mind. That's kind of how we're treating this mock draft. No specific setup to really follow.
Yeah.
And who'd you take after I took Uyghur? Oh, nice. You took
Cider. So kind of very similar build here. So kind of went with the second best and hometown favorite for me. As I'm coming up on my pick here, I'll kind of let you talk about how much you love that pick.
Yeah, no, I mean, he's a similar player to Uyghur. You'll get all the peripherals, and he may actually have a safer power play one spot. Some would argue. I would argue that Simone Edvinsson might be worthy of stealing that away mid-season. And wow, who put us beside each other? Who did that? We're sniping each.
It's weird, it's almost like we chose to do that.
Yeah.
But I'll let you get into your pick. So I say I took Matvey Michkov at my spot there at the 6-6, and you go with your boy Kevin Fiala. I'm really high on Michkov this year. I feel like towards the end of last year, especially once Torts got him out of the doghouse and off the bench, he really showcased down the stretch he can be a point per game, multi-point beast on some nights. And I'm really kind of digging what Michkov can throw at us this year, alongside Travis connecting with that top power play usage. Really like Kevin Fiala here too. Really good pick.
Yeah, I can't complain about either of these picks. Well, I can complain about you taking Michkov because he was the only guy in my queue with these super fast picks. I mean, I have Michkov really breaking out and being let loose this year without Tortorella. I think I have him for 70, 74, maybe 75 points projected. But I do have Fiala projected for 77, so I'll take Fiala as the consolation prize there.
There you go.
And then
you're coming up on your pick here. I'll kind of read this question. Welcome back, fellas. Bangers Cats keep forever league with faceoffs, and we keep 4. Who are the picks out of Rantanen, Stützle, Werenski, Bouchard, Boldy, Forsberg, Strome, and Michkov? Ooh, that's a tough one. For me, I think you got to go Rantanen, Bouchard, Boldy, and probably Werenski for me. Personally, just because of that category coverage. Ryan, once you're done looking at your picks, I'll kind of let you get into that. But I mean, Werenski is a categories monster. Bouchard with the shots and point per game defenseman is going to be great. Boldy, I feel like, still really young in this keeper forever format. And then, hard to leave Michkov out, but I think Rantanen still has the talent.
Yeah,
as you're kind of looking at your picks here, we'll let you get into that. So
I'm gonna take since you spent some nice time on that and you're up next, I'm gonna take my full 20 seconds here to let you have some time to look at your next pick. I might have to take a look at the question later, but I'm gonna go with Timo Meier here, 7th round. Another dual eligible player. I have a lot of left wing, right wings guys, and I'm at this point where I don't have any centers, and I'm really happy to not have any centers because I think there's a lot of value at center late, and you just have one center and you're sticking to that. So
I think we view that similarly. In terms of that, you definitely went good with the Timo Meier there. I'm super scared about his power play usage. I know that's not like a make or break for a lot of draft spots because his floor is so good even without that. And especially in the 7th round here, really good. If only they would, and if he does end up getting the top power play in the 7th round, then you're laughing.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I have. I'm actually projecting him to make his way onto Power Play One. Hopefully, Keith, listens to me and listens to what I say, reads what I write. Timo Meyer belongs on Power Play One, so put him there. But I think 7th round, if he is banished like he was last year to Power Play 2, I still think he'll have a bit of a rebound from what he did last year. And
we got Taco Tuesday. What's your guys' read on where Marner fits on Vegas power play? It's probably between Stone and Hurdle losing their spot, but both play around the net. I think we've touched on this before, Ryan, and I think we view it similarly. I do think Stone's going to come off that power play. I can't see them taking Dorofeyev off with that shot and him being left-handed. If they add Marner, then that's going to be, 3 right-handed guys on their power play, and kind of Jack Eichel has that spot on the wall, Shea Theodore at the point. I think Tomas Hertl's kind of solidified in that front. He got a ton of power play goals last year there too. How do you view that?
Yeah, I do view it as the same. I got Stone as the odd man out, but it's tough because Stone, he's quite the hockey player, and he's quite the the presence for that Vegas team, and he's been there for a while, so it'll be tough to take him off the top power play. I think and Nate and maybe Blake as well, they seem to think that they might run a 5-forward power play like they did with Marner at the point there. Who put you next to me? What is going on, man?
I'll let you think about this as I keep stealing.
How do you do that?
It's almost like I have direct access to your queue. No, it's similar, like, in a lot of drafts where, to me, Nico Hischier is kind of falling, and he really proved what he can do, with his goal scoring ability is so elite, especially with the question of Jack Hughes' health. If Jack Hughes goes down, I think Nico Hischier becomes that much more valuable trying to run, score on that power play, score at even strength. But Nazem Kadri, solid follow-up. I think you had kind of gone into it before. I think didn't you have Kadri in your projections kind of doing even better than this past year? I can't remember. I thought we talked about this previously.
No, not necessarily. Not too happy with that consolation prize. So yeah, you go Hischier in the 8th, and you force me into taking Kadri in the 8th. I have Kadri at 31 goals, 67 points, but like 286 shots. So just firing the puck. Hischier started scoring a lot of goals last year, especially at the start of the season. He was pretty on fire and then dropped off a bit, but I do have Hischier getting 74 points, 32 goals. He is a bit of an injury risk though, but do we ignore that here? Do you ignore that, Evan?
I think you, based on some of our discussions, I think you probably take it into account a little bit more than I do. I'm probably on the riskier side. I've taken quite a bit of risk, especially in the mid-round picks sometimes, that have unfortunately paid off for me in some drafts. So I feel like I can just keep running with it. I remember drafting Stamkos when he came off of his kind of blood clot and leg injury and stuff like that, and he had a full season with crazy point production. Same thing with Malkin on his first truly healthy year, and I feel like I just kind of roll with that. And then Werenski last year, obviously we got him at value in ADP last year, but I feel like some of these injury narratives, it just takes 1 year for a player if they get healthy and can put it all together, especially with some of these point paces. That's kind of what I look at more. But I think, yeah, it's smarter to get some of these safer players that don't have the injury tag, and especially when you're comparing two players at similar ADP, you want to take it into account for sure.
Well, I mean, it's not necessarily smarter. Don't just because I take it into account, just don't assume it's smarter. But no, I take it into account for my projections a little bit. If I might knock it down like a few games played. But I think at this point in the draft, because of the replacement value player that you can pick up off of waivers, if Nico Hischier misses 10 games at a 75-point pace, you could probably find a waiver wire player at a 60-point pace, and then you're at an 82-game pace of probably 72 points rather than 75. So I don't think I think past like the third round, honestly, is when I totally ignore injury risk. But before that, I might account for it more than some other guys around here. So
For sure.
as I'm, talking yang on A and G strategies to just totally ignore injury risks, I also take a goalie in the 9th round. But this goalie, I really like his value this year, especially in volume leagues. I took Dustin Wolf. I think he's going to get a boatload of starts just because of who the backups are with Ivan Prosvetov and Devin Cooley. So yeah, just that's really what I'm looking for, a guy who I think can get loads of starts. And then after I take Wolf, you take another dual eligibility guy, Matt Barzal.
Yeah, love Matt Barzal this year, center right wing in this format. I have him getting back to kind of like a 70-point season if he remains healthy, and I really think you're going to get him at value this year in drafts. And you kind of went with a goalie, and I don't want to follow suit.
I'm sorry. I knew it.
I don't want to follow suit with the goaltender trend. I have to go with my boy Luke Hughes. Again, similarly, I think that this is Luke Hughes' time. I think it's been proven that I do believe he's the better option on the top power play. I think he has the ability to take another step and get to where his brothers are. And, I like him in this spot. Third defenseman, I'll take it. I did look at Vince Dunn in this spot. I actually thought that when I quickly looked and I didn't realize he was taken right before me. I thought you were going to go Vince Dunn after that. But you followed up with Vincent Trocheck.
Yeah. So great pick with Luke Hughes. I think in the 10th round, that's great. There's so much upside there if he can secure power play 1 all season. Dougie Hamilton, he has injury history, and like that, we like to pay attention to injury history when it means that our other guys get opportunity. So that'll really, if Dougie doesn't play 82 games, Luke Hughes could really get the keys to power play 1 like he did last year and really improve his game. I actually do have him projected to get on power play 1. He doesn't provide really any peripherals. So I still have him actually ranked at 114, right where you picked him. But I have him projected at 61 points, 25 on the power play, just 24 hits. So maybe more hits than his brother Jack.
I think I'm realizing slowly and painfully here that the more I talk with you, the more I watch you draft, and the more I kind of look at my own picks and our strategies, I'm thinking in my head, like I keep talking to some of my other buddies about drafting. I definitely am a riskier drafter the more I'm thinking about it. I always go for upside. I always go for the massive point totals and don't care about the peripheral floor. So I think I kind of need to adjust because there are guys that you want with some good peripheral floor and safer picks. But yeah, I'm realizing that I am picking all of the guys that have potential injury or, stuff like that. So we'll see. My turn to draft. Here we go. Quick draft.
It's unlikely that you're always gonna you're gonna take the Band-Aid boy every pick. Like you're gonna take Jack Hughes and then Jack Eichel and then Dougie Hamilton and then Mark Stone. Like maybe they all play 82 games, but there is like that added risk if you're taking everyone. But if you just tend to take some of those players here and there, I think that's totally fine in my eyes.
No, I agree. I think, I'm kind of leaning on as like I've done it, in a few years where I'll take maybe 3 to 4 guys that are kind of like that. And I think I've gotten lucky in a lot of situations where it's paid off. And it's going to take 1 year for it all to come crashing down where all 3 of those injury, potential tagged players, go down. Like you said, then you're in a tough spot. But there's a way to be smart about it for sure. I kind of went with my first goalie here, Jacob Markstrom in the 11th round. I feel like he's falling quite a bit in drafts and honestly could be a 0G strategy because I feel like a lot of people are just either out on him because of the injury tag or because he didn't play as many games and get the stats last year. He's just not as high on ADP or draft boards. What do you think about Jacob Markstrom?
Yeah. he's one of those volatile goalies who he could definitely have one of those random years where she's had like a few times in the past where he's in the Vezina conversation, and then he's a 0G killer. But in terms of expectations, my expectations are a little lower. They gave Jake Allen a weird contract, and I actually think that Jake Allen will still get at least 30 starts, which will limit the upside of Markstrom. So I don't think I'm drafting Markstrom where he's going at the moment. I like a few other goalies, but if you think he'll get more than 55 starts, like right there, that's a great pick.
I'm also just like team situation. I think that the Devils are just in a good bounce back spot. I think they're a great team, and I think that he'll rack up some of those wins, especially as like a late round goalie. So I'm definitely happy with him there. I'm trying to see who I can snipe from you here. And as I'm coming up on my pick here, I'm hoping this is going to be a good one for you.
It wasn't a snipe this time, but I do like it. He was on my mind.
On your mind, but not in the queue. Need to do better as you're coming up on your pick. And right before that, Pavel Buchnevich went, and I think that I kind of was in a similar thought process of looking at both of them, but definitely like the Nuge bounce back. And you go with Rickard Rakell, who I also briefly kind of looked at. I'm curious to see like how he really does this year. He's going to get all the opportunity in Pittsburgh. I think he's going to be top power play. He's getting the hits. He's getting the shots. What do you think about his value kind of leading into drafts if he remains on Pittsburgh the whole year?
Yeah, I'm really surprised at his ADP this year. So I just took him at 139. I think his ADP was a little further than that, but he had like a career year last year on a bad Pittsburgh team. There definitely should be a bit of regression in terms of some shooting percentages, but I still have Raquel, playing top line minutes, top power play minutes with Sidney Crosby, getting a lot of shots and hits. So, and then that try eligibility was just staring me in the face, and I'm like, yeah, give me that flexibility on my roster, please.
Yeah, no, the try eligible status for him is huge. So yeah, we've got some good picks here. Owen Tippett and Patrick Kane go similar.
And I don't think we, I don't think we said who you thought you might snipe me at, but you took Nuge right before I took Raquel in the 13th round. What if we see Edmonton go crazy again and we have 100-point Nuge? That would be pretty crazy in the 13th round.
Yeah, I think.
Did he get 100 points that year? I forget.
I don't know that it was 100. I think it was in the 90s, but
I don't want to look stupid here.
Yeah. Here, I'll look it up while you're.
No, I got it.
Yeah. Okay.
He had 104 points. Right on.
You got it. That's crazy. I actually I wouldn't have ever thought that. I feel like it was like one of the quietest 100-point seasons you'll ever see, just because it was overshadowed by the rest of the team and Zach Hyman getting 50 goals. But yeah. Oh, it's amazing stuff from him.
Yeah. And then, as I'm tempted to take a center only, I'm taking center left wing because I have them similarly ranked. So I take Jared McCann here in round 13. He's center left wing. And I have McCann projected for a big bounce back. I just hope the new coach in Seattle can recognize that Jared McCann is the guy there to play more than 13 minutes, even strength time, get him up to 14, 15 and get him on the top power play. And I have him getting 30 goals and 68 points this year.
Yeah, that's really good stuff. Yeah, I think he's a really good in this particular spot, and he's going late in drafts too. I feel like every time I see. Right after that, I go Noah Hannafin. I feel like I'm drafting him in a lot of spots. It's interesting, as we were talking about the injury tag. One of those guys I drafted last year was Shea Theodore, and I think that point pace and offensive defenseman on that Vegas power play, you're not going to get much better, but he has definitely had some struggles staying healthy. So this year I'm focusing on grabbing Noah Hannafin, who they locked up, and is very capable of running that top power play when he is on there. So as an injury handcuff, and even without the top power play, he's still a productive defenseman.
Yeah, and they chose, I think, in the first couple of games of the playoffs, they chose to put Hannafin there when Theodore was healthy instead of Theodore, which definitely raised some eyebrows. It didn't last that long, but they definitely like Hannafin in Vegas.
Definitely do. And we got a little goaltender run. So coming back into the 14th round, we got Joseph Full, Linus Olmark, and then I go Thatcher Demko, and you go with Jake Wallman, avoiding the Eggman here.
Yeah, I believe the Eggman has been picked, so I can't take him anymore.
No. He did. He went at the end of the 13th. Unbelievable.
Yes. Yeah, and then I just added Lucas Dostal to my queue. So Ryan, you're sniping me there. Good job. I would have loved Wolf and Dostal. Dostal? How do you say his name, Evan?
I think I've gone Dostal. But yeah, I feel like anytime you're saying the player's name, there's a correct way to do it, but then there's the way where it sounds cool. So, and a lot of the announcers pronounce it that way. So I kind of go with that. But yeah, really looking at him. I mean, man, he on all those off nights for Anaheim, plus now that Gibson's gone, he is a for sure target in a lot of my drafts.
Yeah, and then I'm gonna go with another goalie here. How do you pronounce his name? Stuart Skinner. Stuart. Yeah. No, that wasn't a cool way to pronounce his name. But yeah, I like Skinner here at the end, second last round of this draft. I think that, Edmonton didn't make any moves in goalie, so Skinner and Pickard are their goalies, and Skinner's still young, so he had a really bad playoffs and a pretty bad year last year. But if he can, just be the average goalie that he was, 2 years ago or even the season prior, he'll get, I think, 55 starts on an Edmonton team that's elite. So I'll take that. I'll take Skinner in the 15th round. And then you go with Cole Perfetti. I really like that. Dual eligible.
If I'm not mistaken, he's tri-eligible here, which is crazy because I don't remember him ever playing center. But
oh, look at that.
As you said, the tri-eligibility was staring me in the face as well as his new spot on PP1 with the departure of Nick Ehlers. But yeah, Stuart Skinner, it's an interesting narrative because he really gets all of the blame. I feel like him and Bouchard defensively get all of the blame for Edmonton, which I guess there's some to put on there because at times Stuart Skinner has played really well, and at times he's definitely let in a lot of soft goals that have changed the course of games. But yeah, I think, like you said, they really don't have another great option. And if you're looking at Edmonton in a team spot, really good. And Nate kind of supports you here.
Yeah, he just tells he's supporting that Skinner is now 0G because Skinner used to be reached last year, maybe even the year prior, but now he's fallen enough to be considered a 0G guy. So I'm happy to do that. And then we're coming up on our last picks here, and you are on the clock. I'm putting an interesting guy in my queue. You're not gonna snipe me here. I can guarantee that.
I'm trying to just scroll down as fast as I can to see who I can snipe from you, but it's not going to work because I am just going to go with a boring pick. Just because that 1 year where he gets that 40 goals, it's just stuck in my head. And people, I feel like in that year got him off waivers or something, or last pick in their draft. But let's see, who did you go with? I didn't follow up here. You're on the clock. So Sam Dickinson. That's an interesting one.
Yeah, I think he's definitely under the radar in terms of rookie defensemen. Parekh, Nikishin, and Zeev Weem have all, skyrocketed in ADPs, and there's high expectations for all of them. But I think no one's talking about Sam Dickinson. Maybe he doesn't make the team at all, but if he does, I think there's no reason for him not to be on the top power play. They brought in Klingberg, but what are you doing in San Jose if you're not checking out your prospects and your talented guys in great spots? And also, when I was digging deep on Dickinson, I found out that he might actually put up some peripherals. He loves to shoot, and a lot of prospect scouts really talk about his big physical frame that he's not afraid to use. So that could maybe lead to some hits. It's hard to project that from the OHL, as they don't track that. And I do think he'll get plenty of blocks on San Jose, playing a lot of hockey in his own end. So that's why I like Dickinson as some upside, but maybe he doesn't make the team, and I'll just drop him if that's the case.
Yeah, no, I think that's really interesting stuff, and I really don't trust John Klingberg. Coming back from that hip issue, and then with his age, that he'll like for sure stick on that San Jose power play the whole year, or even to start. Really, I think he probably will, but I think that's an interesting a take, because I've looked at him in some spots, but yeah, I haven't really done the deep dive on Sam Dickinson, so that's very interesting.
Yeah, and like in this mock draft, 16 teams, maybe there were definitely some more boring picks that I could probably find great value still. So I think Sam Dickinson's more of a deeper target in like 20 round leagues, or deeper than that, or 14 or 16 team leagues. But yeah, the upside is there.
Well, what do you think? Do you want to get into these players at ADP, Ryan, so you can get to your fantasy football draft?
I think we got a little bit of time. I want to look.
Yes.
I want to take a look at your team and
Okay.
see if I can find any hate in my heart on any of your picks here.
Very good.
Too nice to you a little bit tonight.
Yeah.
Well, you sniped me quite a few times, so I got to praise your picks. It looks like you have a well-constructed team with a lot of dual eligibility and flexibility, so that's great. Okay, here's where I can't hate on your goalies, Jacob Markstrom and Thatcher Demko, because you took them late enough where I think it's still considered 0G, where if Demko gets injured, boom, put him on IR. Who cares? You took him in the 12th round? And
yeah. No, I took him in the 14th round.
I'm sorry. But yeah, no, I really like your Nietzsche's pick. I like Heischer. You sniped me there. I like Hughes. You sniped me there. One pick that I think was, a risky pick. I'm not convinced on Roman Josi. Who am I to know about Roman Josi? But it's possible that if there's any issues with this POTS diagnosis, like maybe he gets a little bit of some time off, or like a game here and there, and that'll be annoying. You're gonna have to put him into the IR plus, or he'll just be playing like 22 minutes a night instead of 24 minutes a night, and that'll drop his elite production down a tiny bit. Take a look at my team, Evan. Tell me if you can, find anything in your heart that you can hate.
I hate that you didn't get the Eggman and you had to go with Jake Wallman. But no, I mean, I love Cap, love Werenski, Boldy, Hagel. I think the one player similar to kind of your thoughts on Yossi, like I'm just not a big Mackenzie Weegar guy. His peripheral floor is insane. I love that. For him going as high as he is in like the fourth or third round, sometimes in a lot of drafts, with the Zane Parekh looming, I have this kind of like, again, it's like an uncertainty thing, and you want certainty in your kind of first 3 to 5 rounds of drafting. So I'm not a huge Uyghur guy, but that doesn't mean I don't like the player. But I totally understand the thought on Yossi too. It's something more for me. Like if you look at, like, for example, where we had our defenseman being drafted here, Josh Morrissey went at the 4.9, and I took Roman Yossi at the 3.7. Josh Morrissey's been a 70-point defenseman, for the past few seasons, and I feel like would be a much safer pick. I feel so weird taking Josh Morrissey over Roman Yossi. It just seems like such a ho-hum pick for me. I want that, the upside, for Yossi to kind of go over point per game like he's done previously. But yeah, it's a risk. It has to be a risk. And, we'll see how it plays out this season. Real quick too, in the comments, we got Crabbrave saying, how do you feel about Mike's team? Says rank number 2. Ryan, I'll let you look at his team. Tell us how you feel about it.
Mike, he picked 4th. He went Kucherov, then Reinhardt. No issues there. Gensel in the 3rd round, then that Morrissey pick in the 4th round. Again, no issues. Bedard in the 5th round. I think, again, it's Connor Bedard. He has so much upside, and it's hard to it's hard to project Bedard because I'm expecting similar to last year, but maybe he just takes a development step and then he's really worth like a second or third rounder. But I'm not taking Bedard in the 5th round this year. So don't love that pick, but Pedersen I like in the 6th. And then you took Sergei Bobrovsky before I took Dustin Wolf. I think Bobrovsky is like the most boring goalie to take. I don't think there's upside there. I think he is what he is at this point on Florida. It's a strong team, but he's not going to get like 60 starts. Florida's gonna save their guys. But yeah, like Mike, I really like your Fantilli pick in the 13th round. I gotta say that, and Matt Coronado in the last round. So there you go, Mike. That's my thoughts on your team.
Yeah, I kind of echo that. I think he had a really good team. I like Dorofeyev too. Like Gostisbehere, going to run that top power play in Carolina. So yeah, really good draft by Mike. I'm actually probably like a little bit lower on Pedersen as well. I'm just kind of super scared off. I know JT Miller's gone, and it seems like Pedersen's going to start the season healthy. And he's done it before. He has the pedigree and the talent. I just don't know like where I'm really looking at him in terms of like drafting him, but where you got him here in the 6th round, mid to late 6th round, that might be a little too spicy for me as a center.
Yeah. Well, he's center left wing in this.
He is okay. If he's left wing eligible, then agree.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was super fun. I'm glad we got some sharp Apples and Ginos drafters in there, so that we weren't getting Philip Forsberg in the 4th round or anything like that. But yeah, I'm happy to move on. We have each picked 3 players where we think that their Yahoo ADP is far too low at the moment. And these are guys that I'll be targeting in Yahoo drafts for sure if the guys I'm playing against are only going on Yahoo's ADP. So yeah, my first player here, we have Martin Necas. He's only right wing eligible, but that's not bad. His Yahoo ADP at the moment is 50.5. And Evan, you took him at around there. I think a tiny bit earlier than that, which I don't hate at all because my ranking, at least in the APL settings, has him at 33rd overall. And you can see I'm a little high on him. My projections, 31 goals, 87 points, 33 on the power play. And I got him getting a career high in shots on goal on Colorado. And a big reason for this, look at that picture. Look who he's hugging. He's hugging Nate McKinnon. He's moved on from Rob Brindamore in Carolina. And I think there's a lot more to see with him playing with Nathan McKinnon and getting a lot more shots. McKinnon loves to shoot a lot himself, but he also sets up his players well. And that's a big reason Rantanen, in my opinion, was a 100-point guy plus on Colorado. And you can see Apples and Ginos projection, which is the average between Nate and Blake's projections. Their projection and my projection are pretty close. I am getting a little more shots. But yeah, I just really like Martin Necas in like even the end of the 3rd round, but I'll be trying to get him in the 4th round, that's for sure, in any Yahoo draft to really have that ADP play to my advantage. Evan, what do you think about Martin Necas? It seems like you agree because you took him in the 4th round in our draft here.
Yeah, totally agree. Like you said, look at who he's hugging. It's Nathan McKinnon. Anyone that's playing with McKinnon at baseline, I feel like just has such a high floor based on that all-world caliber player. But I think we even saw Martin Necas by himself, like take over that second line in Carolina and pop off. So he has the ability to do that himself, even without McKinnon. So jointly with him, who knows? The ceiling is really unknown at this point. I think just McKinnon's so fast. Necas is so fast. They're both going to be killing it on the rush. No one's going to be like, they're going to be turning around defensemen so fast. They're going to be tripping over themselves. So yeah, I love the projection and love the ADP you have, Matt.
Right on. All right, let's move to your first player, which you drafted my first player. I drafted your first player.
That's right, and that's Brandon Hagel, dual eligible, left wing, right wing. Yahoo ADP has him at 54. Ryan, you have him at 29. Your point projection, Ryan, was 33 goals, 84 points, 219 shots with 58 blocks. Nate and Blake's projections had him at 33 goals, 83 points, 214 shots, and 54 blocks. I think we've really just seen that Brandon Hagel is elite. I think it was kind of, is he just kind of like more of a middle six, second line, second power play guy? But even without the power play production, he, went off this past year, and I think that's going to continue. I think Tampa also did some weird things on the power play throughout the year, putting Darren Radish up there at times, like Sorelli even, or Nick Paul. I think he's going to stick there. I think they can figure it out and have him there, and he's going to get more power play points, so that should even out, even if he regresses a little bit at even strength. And we even saw his shorthanded production be insane with Anthony Sorelli as well. So yeah, I really love getting Brandon Hagel at value. My buddy and I actually discussed this a few weeks back. It's like, who at like left wing would you rather have than Brandon Hagel? And we kind of went through some players and everything, some comparables, and there's not many. There's not many left wings I would want over Brandon Hagel with that exposure on the Lightning and the individual caliber of the player. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, and like just thinking about left wings, like all their ADPs are above Brandon Hagel, that's for sure. Like maybe Jesper Bratt, Clayton Keller, Matt Boldy's dual eligible, but yeah, these guys are all going way before Hagel. So I love Hagel in the fourth round as well. And then moving on to my second guy. I'm warning you about this picture that I pulled up about this beautiful human being. Love watching his interviews. We have Seth Jarvis. He's hugging a puppy over here. But yeah, he's tri-eligible on Yahoo, and it's hard to pass that up in itself. But his Yahoo ADP is at 81. I have him ranked in APL settings at 51st with a projection of 70 points, 34 goals, 230 shots, and 103 hits. That's really close to Nate and Blake's projection as well. They have the same goals and points, a few lower shots, and one less hit. But yeah, I really like Seth Jarvis here. He's really solidified himself as a top line player on Carolina. The upside, I think, is still limited with Rob Brindamore. He's going to play all four lines, maybe top three lines at even strength, and he probably won't play his top power play above like 67% power play share. So that limits all Carolina players, but Seth Jarvis has shown that he's definitely here to stay as a 30 plus goal, 70 point guy with some good peripherals. What do you think, Evan?
Yep. He's the guy, man. I think it's like you said, if Rob Brindamore actually played him on the top line consistently, didn't shuffle and just gave that top line like some more consistent minutes, I think his ceiling could even be higher. But he's a workhorse on that team. And I think he's kind of underrated on the power play as well. But yeah, super great. I mean, ADP Yahoo 81. That'd be if you got Seth Jarvis in the 8th round, I feel like you're almost winning that league almost. That's nasty stuff.
Yeah, and the tri-eligibility. Can't resist it. All right, moving on to your second player.
So we got Carter Verhaeghe here, and I know Nate's going to love this when he sees it because last year he must have talked about him more than any other player repeatedly on the podcast all the time, as his shooting percentage was insanely low compared to his career. Yahoo ADP has him at 113. Ryan, you have him at 91. Your projection, Ryan, 32 goals, 65 points, 18 power play points, 255 shots. Nate and Blake have him for 33 goals, 66 points, 19 power play points, and 250 shots. With Matthew Tkachuk being out almost the first half of the year, at least the first few months after the surgery, I think it's his spot to lose on the power play. I think he's going to get it. He's got an elite shot. He's going to have that top line with Barkov and Reinhart. And I think they're probably going to, continue to roll with that. There's no reason to me that Paul Maurice would really change what's worked in Florida by kind of shuffling and putting Brad Marchand up there or anything like that. They kind of saw that in the playoffs. But I think Verhaeghe will get that top power play spot, and I think he's due for a massive bounce back, and you don't want to sleep on him here. What do you think, Ryan?
Yeah, and again, like this projection of mine, and it seems like Nate and Blake's projection too, it's not his floor. His floor was last year where everything went wrong. He was just like shooting a whole bunch of shot attempts and missing the net even. He wasn't even getting those shots on goal. There's a picture here. That's a shot attempt and he totally missed the net there. That's for sure. So that was his floor. He had 20 goals, 53 points. He still had 242 shots on goal, but this guy rips shot attempts. More will hit the net this year. More will go in this year. I think his upside is definitely above 70 points, especially if he gets on that power play one and stays. That just worries me a bit. I've baked in not as much power, not like top power play one time, even for half the season into my projections, because they were running a lot of different scenarios there. They had Bennett and Samskevich on power play one at points. They had Brad Marchand. No, I don't think he was on power play one, but there is that option. So I think they just have a lot of options that they might try out, and that might limit Verhaeghe's upside. But, I think these projections here by myself and the Nate and Blake are pretty good floors for Verhaeghe. And if you can get him past pick 100, that's great value.
Absolutely.
And next up here, my third guy, we have Dylan Genther. His Yahoo ADP is 126. In our recent mock, I think he went in the 80s, probably where he should go. I have him ranked at 79 in the APL settings. My projection has him getting 33 goals, 68 points, 29 power play points, 249 shots on goal. Nate and Blake's projection has him 34 goals, 68 points, 27 power play points, 249, exactly the same shots on goal as me. It's interesting that all these value picks, my projections seem to not be so different from Nate and Blake's, and that kind of tells you that these are really, really valuable picks here at Yahoo's ADP. I think Dylan Genther is on the top power play for good. He showed what he could do there last year, and he won't get taken off.
No, not at all. Yeah, I love Dylan Genther. I was trying to look back and see where I drafted him last year in my main league, because when I did draft him, I don't think there was a player that I was happier with where I did draft him. I want to say it had to have been like in the 13th round or so. Like this guy's shot is like nothing I've ever seen. It might be like one of the best shots in the league. And this guy came out of nowhere like last year. And then, he's really just elite talent. And I think, the ceiling for him, I think, is even higher. I think he's actually a kind of underrated facilitator too, because everyone focuses on his shot. But when they do that so much on the power play, it opens up guys like Clayton Keller. And if they keep him on there, Logan Cooley. But I love, this is like crazy good for ADP. If you got Dylan Genther, in the 8th, 9th round, I think you're laughing.
Yeah, and side note, I think his average shots per game were at 2.5 in the first half of the season, and that shot up to 3.6 in the second half of the season. And I think he was third in shot attempts per 60 to finish the season last year. So this guy is just going to keep shooting the puck, scoring goals, and on that top power play, he'll have lots of opportunities there.
Yeah.
And then we have your third guy, as I am in the wrong sport at the moment. But yeah, we got your third guy, Alex Tuch. Talk to me about Alex Tuch.
What can be said about Alex Tuch that we haven't already said about Alex Tuch? And I've drafted him in so many spots. So his ADP on Yahoo, 147, just absolutely criminal. Anyone drafting there should be locked away. Ryan, you have him at 82. Your projection, Ryan, 29 goals, 66 points, 210 shots, 99 blocks for a forward. Nate and Blake's projection, 31 goals, 64 points, 208 shots on goals, and 101 blocks. Alex Tuch, if he can only get that lineup deployment, and even without it, he's still going to produce. He's in a contract year. I love that. The departure of JJ Peterka just means more time for Alex Tuch potentially on the top power play. I have no idea why they wouldn't put him there. So they should. And then if he gets some time along Tage Thompson, we've seen how he can do there a few years ago. I really love Alex Tuch. He does it all, hits, blocks, shots. He's going to get the points. And I think that kind of his ceiling this year with more stable opportunity and power play deployment will really provide you value at his ADP.
Yeah, this ADP is wild, and I think he should be drafted in that 82 range, because like this is like a pretty safe player because he's not really expected to be on the top power play at all times. He's not expected to play with Tage at all times. So if that occurs, he can really clear 70 points.
Yeah, and I think I'm 99% sure he played shorthanded as well and got a decent amount of shorthanded points. So if your league counts those settings, you can kind of take that into account. Just severely underrated too. I feel like as a right winger, if you're getting at a like second or third right winger, again, I think you're doing really good in your drafts. So who'd you get with your first pick in your football draft, Ryan? I know the people want to know.
The people want to know. Yeah, I'm in a football draft. I started at 8:30. It's a super flex league, so 2 QBs. I was picking 4, and Josh Allen went first, then Jackson, then Jaden Daniels, and I couldn't not take my boy Jalen Hurts. And then I'm going in the second round. What is this? A fantasy football podcast? I'm going Puka Nakua at the 2-7. That's what
Absolutely.
I'm doing.
As we wrap up here, thanks everyone for joining us. It was great. Hopefully these ADP slides helped you out too. Thanks, Ryan. You kind of took the lead on this, and this is really good stuff. Even though we disagree on sniping some of each other's picks, we certainly agreed on these ADPs. So that's all we've got for this episode. Hopefully it brought you some value and helped you get just a little bit better at fantasy hockey today. Many thanks to the band there for supplying the music for the podcast. Be sure to check us out on Spotify as well. Appreciate your time. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next time.